Since you mentioned Robert Kraft, I'm going to ask you about Robert Kraft. How's that going to impact you? He's certainly been one of your most important and influential allies with the NFL. How's all that went on impacting you?
Yeah, look, the first thing I'd say, to me, I try to find a positive in every negative, and I think the biggest thing that I've talked to Robert about every day these days is he's finally seen what it's like to be a player in the NFL and a player in the NBA when you have experience with law enforcement that aren't the way that you thought that they were going to be. And you're talking about a guy who, it's been proven that, you know, a month ago, all you see all over the media is all this talk about sex trafficking. The whole thing was made up by law enforcement. There was no sex trafficking.
Well, that was what they were trying to prove, right?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
They're not even trying to prove it. They've given up. No one's been charged. There was no sex trafficking. You know, it was the law enforcement made it up. You know, he was illegally videoed. He was illegally pulled over. And now, you know, Robert's like, man, I get what our players go through when they get pulled over and they're, you know, and they're discriminated against. So, you know, I think it's been eye-opening for him. You know, he was, to be honest, he was like me a year and a half ago. I thought that the criminal justice system worked perfectly in 99.9% of the situations. And today I recognize it doesn't work well in most of the situations. Not because they're bad people, it's because the system's fundamentally broken. What law enforcement always does is overcharge, and then no one can fight it, so people plead down, and then you're stuck within the system. So I think, you know, Robert is, he's going to, you know, come through this stronger than ever. You know, I think, you know, a lot of the true details will come out over time. It won't be as people believe. And I think he'll figure out how, you know, the great thing with Robert is he'll figure out how to make the country and the world a better place as a result of what he's gone through, because that's who he is.